Guys? A little bit of a different video today. I ended up not taking a trade today. I really wanted to take this setup, um, but there was a meeting, a Fed meeting, but it was a testimony and it lasted like forever, so I wasn't able to take a trade. But I want to talk a little bit today about how to deal with um, periods of drawdown. Um, I've been red for the last about a week, maybe just over a week. And I kind of just wanted to talk a little bit about how to deal with having a bad week or even a bad month. Um, because, it's something that happens in trading and a lot of people don't know how to. Um, so, yeah. So, when examining drawdown and when you're looking at your periods of drawdown, you may currently be in one, you may have had one in the past. Um, you may be about to go into a period of drawdown, but there's three main things that you should look at to describe why you're in drawdown. And that's the first question. You have to ask yourself, why are you in drawdown? Because there's always a reason. First thing I like to call normal deviation. And essentially, what normal deviation is you're trading your strategy, you're trading it how it should be traded, but you're just not winning. And so, no matter how good or bad your strategy is, it's just you're performing everything how it's supposed to be and you're not winning, which is partially the reason that I had red week, was normal deviation. And so basically that just means your strategy is not working. And that's part of trading. Nobody has a 100% win rate. No matter what you trade, how you trade, there's going to be times that you lose and periods that you lose. And that is completely normal within your strategy. Um, my strategy in particular probably currently has around, I would say, a 60% win rate. So there's going to be weeks, there's going to be days, there's going to be months. The time frame doesn't matter, but there's going to be times where the strategy does not work, and that is okay. And that is the first thing you have to realize in order to get out of drawdown. If you examine that you're trading exactly how you should and your model's just not working, that is fine. You just keep trading the way you are, and eventually you will go back into profit. The other issue is execution issues. And that could also be a reason why you're in drawdown. Particularly for me, there's been maybe one or two trades where my execution has not been correct, and that is why I took the loss. But execution issues is just, it's a discipline thing. Are you over trading? Are you thinking that it's your entry, but it's not? Are you not being patient? There's a lot of different things that go into execution issues, and so that is actually a big one. And that is, I would say, why most drawdown. And the last method for why you could be in drawdown is just your strategy doesn't work. You don't have the data to prove that your strategy works long term. And that's also, why most traders fail, is because they follow things aimlessly, or they try to develop their own strategy without proper data, and it doesn't work. So those are the main three things. And so the main point is you have to examine why you're in drawdown. And once you realize why you're in drawdown, then you can start to look at, how do I get out of drawdown? For example, for normal deviation, just keep trading. Just keep trading how you are, and eventually, you'll get back into profit. Now, in terms of execution issues, in order to get out of drawdown or deal with the drawdown, it's a deeper issue, because that's things like discipline, psychology. Those are things that you need to actually examine, within yourself, and kind of, go through that. So, like, for example, if you're over trading, you need to realize that, once you take one or two trades, you can't trade again. You can't just keep placing trades and keep trying to taste profit. Like, it's not good. So what I would say in terms of every strategy, whether it works, whether it doesn't, whether it's an execution issue, whether it's a normal deviation. You need to be keeping data of your trades. And I will go into in a different video how I journal my trades and how I do research and examine different things to better my strategy. But if you're not keeping data on your trades and going over, what you liked about the setup, why you took the trade, why you got stopped, why you got stopped in profit, why you moved your stop too early, why you entered at this time, why you waited and missed the trade. If you're not keeping data on the trades that you take, you're never going to know that you have something that works. So like for me specifically, I have been keeping data on every single trade that I've taken in the last maybe 8 or 9 months since June or since July of last year. And so I know that if I follow my model and I execute properly, no matter what, if I have a period of drawdown, I will end up green at the end of the day, at the end of the cycle. Eventually I will recoup and be back in profit. And that is something that I know because I study my data and I know that, I have my win rate, I have my average RR, and there's all these different things that you can keep track of to okay. So if I go to my old Notion per se, and I go to my trading journal and my analysis, right? I can see all of my data from the previous years. So like let's go to July of 2025. I can see all of my trades, my weekly stats, my win rate, my July review. I can go in per trade and see all the different stuff, the pictures, the time frames, what I wanted to target RR versus, the realized, what my mistakes were, what my notes are. And I'm currently developing a platform that basically has all of this in one top down, that kind of automates the data keeping or the data tracking and all that. But so that's what I have been using, which I'll roll out pretty soon here and give you guys a demo of that. But you can see that I have all of my trades documented. So if I need to, do research on a certain time of day that I trade or a certain RR, if it's hitting or not, I can go and I can look at those things and examine them and make sure that I will be able to come back into profit. So the main thing is definitely make sure you keep data. The only other thing that I would say is just know that you can get out of drawdown. If you have the data, if you have the strategy, if you have the model, if you're doing your part and you're doing your part correctly, drawdown and periods of drawdown shouldn't be an issue at all, because you'll eventually come out of them and you'll continue trading, and you'll continue making profit. So that's the advice that I have to give. Yeah, again, no trades for me today. We'll see about tomorrow. I think there's news at like 9, which would be nice. Good to take a trade between 9 and 10. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope I provided you a little bit of insight as to, what to do if you experience a period of drawdown. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.